I went up there the other day in an evening walk and walked around, and I decided to keep this bit for another day, which is what I've done. Now I believe this is the fens, all this sort of area, the flatter area. It's like the fens, and I think the higher bits of the wolds. I haven't got to the wolds properly. I think I've driven through them. So we're going this way now. The other day we will end up over there eventually, but I'm hoping there's a path where I don't have to walk on the road. So this is the final day really of being, when there's another day tomorrow. I'm going to Louth tomorrow to get to the bank, because they've only got Lloyd's in Horncastle, and I was unable to transfer any money from one account to another. And I've got to do that because I've got bills coming out, and I need to put some money. I need to get some money out, or put some in an account, Visa. So the chap up there didn't want me to photograph his farm for some reason, but I had a long chat with him, and he was telling me about Boomtown Rats. It's either Boomtown Rats or some other band about the same time that came to this place and played, and there were people all sat along on the banks there. I don't know if it was Boomtown Rats or Madness. It was one of those bands. And he was, first of all, he looked quite threatening when he came out. He said, no photos here. And I said, I'm sorry, I've only taken one. I said, I'll delete it. I said, I thought you had an unusual building. Anyway, he was friendly in the end. I chatted him up. No, I didn't chat him up, you know what I mean. I negotiated with him about the one photo and told him I was doing castles and churches, and I thought his building was unusual. He said it was once a pub, but he didn't know the name of it. But when it was a pub, this band, quite a famous band, like Madness or Boomtown Rats, came and played there. And people were all sat on the banks and all around here. It was a spontaneous type playing, I think. But it was a pub. I need to find out what the pub's called. So that's a little bit of history, everyone. People have told me various bits of history when I've been bumping into people. Even like when I was in the fish and chip shop, queuing for quite a while, because it was the best fish and chip shop in Alford, called Jolly's, I think. Or that might have been Horncastle, but this was Alford. I've been out all day, I was starving, and I am being naughty eating chips, I know, because I don't normally eat them. But the thing is, when you're starving and you've been out all day, and I live rough when I'm out. I mean, I was in the Army Cadets. We used to go out on these exercises, and we used to live out of packets. I am used to roughing it, and but I'm getting older. That was years ago. But some of those little skills I picked up in fieldcraft and all that were useful, very useful. And never give up. Keep going. Right, over and out for a minute. So I'm heading over towards those buildings. I'm hoping there's a nice path I can walk on and not on the road all the way back. I intend to go into Chapel St Leonard's to have some lunch, and because I do tend to eat out when I'm away, you know what I mean, I'm on holiday sort of thing, I'm not cooking. I might shove something in a saucepan, and I can do if I want, you know. I get a bit I've got other things to do, you know. And so basically I survive. I do. I like it. I don't mind having my annual chips. You know, it doesn't hurt. A bit of poison. It tells the body it's got to be ready. You know, if it keeps getting protected, it won't be able to react when it has something nasty. That's my theory. Over and out then for a minute, folks. We're on our way. On a road to somewhere. We're on a road to somewhere in Lincolnshire fens. Oh dear. It's been a great week. It's been jam-packed. My week isn't finished yet. I'm hoping to stay in Lincoln for 2 days. Might possibly stay where I stayed before. Because it's right in the middle of the town, the city. And just go there, because I mean, I can't just nip up the road to these places. And hoping to see someone I met last year. That's going to happen, I hope, tomorrow. To make this sort of a Facebook type online friendship also a bit real, you know, because it can seem unreal when you're communicating with people, but it can feel unreal when you've got a friend from 50 years ago, and you haven't seen them for 40 years. They still feel like your friend, but there's something unreal about it because you hardly ever see them, you know. And sometimes it's nice to see them just to know that they're still around and they're real, even though they send you photos. And I'm all in for Facebook friendships and things like that, or contacts or links, because there's a lot of people this day and age who do live on their own, and if you don't want to have close contact, at least you know you've got somebody in the virtual world, but they're real people that you can chat to and share ideas. And that's why I belong to the groups as well, various groups I belong to, because it makes sense of all the different issues that we're trying to deal with in our lives. If you can join in with others, even if you can't participate in actual events, you know, you're with them in spirit when they go off on their fishing vessels to try and rescue the whales. And people like Tamsin and her farmer friend are doing so much on their land to try and rescue the beans and the peas and the grasses and everything. These people are active people. They are the pioneers, really, and they're trying to keep everything going against a very dominant force that we can't always control, that are visible but invisible. Right, I think that's enough for today. Look at this lovely wheat. I think is it wheat or barley? I can never tell the difference, you know. I used to. What it is with me, I've become. My memory is very selective. I think that could be wheat, or could it be corn? Or could it be? No, I don't think it's barley. I don't know. I can't remember. I'll have to look it up. It sounds awful, doesn't it, that I don't know? But I did know, but certain parts of my memory, because I don't come across it much, not really, I just can't remember. I used to know a lot about the chronological order of plants and stuff. I used to know a lot 50 years ago, when I was studying biology and stuff. I could tell you stuff. But, you know, classification of plants and all that, I used to know all that. You know, from the single cell amoeba upwards, you know, to multi-celled creatures like us. I used to know every bone in the body. I loved bones when I was a child. I used to collect bones when I went out on the hills, bring them back and put them in a bucket to bleach them. Usually sheep bones. And there was a bit of I might have that bit of stone in memory of this walk. I've got so many rocks and stones at home, you know. I've got some for Tamsin. I've got 2 fossils to give to her of my sand bay. They're of sand bay, of 2 ancient fossils, mollusk, and I don't know what. One's a mollusk, one's a devil's claw. I used to know that. I used to know it. I even knew its proper name. I don't know. I think part of my brain is there, but you know, I'm not got to mention, by the way, because when I hit my head after falling and breaking my wrist, my head bounced off the road. After tripping off over a curb, not because I'm ill, they scanned my head because it was a head injury. I mean, my head just swelled up. They said that was good because the bruising came out. And they scanned my head. First of all, they thought they saw something, my brain. And then they just examined it a bit, and they said, no, you've got a really good brain and you've got no sign of dementia. While they were in there, because she was doing dementia studies, the doctor, the consultant, and she said, you can talk to me anytime you like, but there's nothing wrong, you've got a healthy brain for your age. I'm going to stop there, folks, as I bore you all, and the ones who can sleep will be asleep, and those who can't sleep will be asleep. That's why I always say for the insomniacs, because they rather turn off into sleep. Right, it's 2 bikes coming along. Good places to cycle around here. Anyway, I'll be back later. I'll do a bit more. I've got to remember, this is the only... I haven't brought any leads. Over and out. I haven't brought anything. I can't even put it into the... What's the name? Right, over and out. Yes, I can. Over and out, Sheila. Right, a footpath to Anderby Creek. The campsite weren't open to tea or coffee. There might be something down there. Oh, he's watering the plants. I thought it might be spray for a minute. You know, poisonous substances. Back there, somebody spraying things. But it's water. You shouldn't really, you should never water, what I've been told, you shouldn't water plants that are exposed to this sort of heat in the midday, apparently. I can't remember why. I think something happens when they do that. Affects the transport system. God, it smells like fags. Like someone's having a really big fag. Well, there's another road up there. God, this is amazing. This is a quick way through, I expect. Rather pleasant though, isn't it? I'm having a lovely time. I've just crossed the road, and there's another road here. There's a farmhouse there. I've got 2 bottles of water, a bottle of juice, and a bottle of naughty fizzy drink, which I find is nice. Just a small can. You can get these really small cans. No, I keep following this. Hiya. Hello. Some sort of sluice gate here. I'll only walk so far up there because I know I've got to go back that way, but I'm going to try and find a path off the road, because it was very high hedges and it'd be busier now than it was when I walked the other night. I've gone much further on, by the way. I might have to start wearing my hat soon. Oh, it's a beach. There's a beach calf. This way for a beach calf. That's what I like about exploring. And when you're on your own, you've got to make all the decisions. So normally I can easily become a sheep and I just follow the others. Unless they get lost, and I'll have to take over. And I get lost sometimes. Right, let's have a look. There's a place in there, Security Solutions. And then we just go up here. I can see a sign. Looks like a sign to the cafe. Sandyland Sutton. What's that say? Yeah, we're going the right way. Right, turning off for a minute, folks. Right, I've stopped at an ice cream and a coffee, and I'm now down very close to the sea. I can see the sea, I can hear it, and I'm following a little path which would take me all the way back to Chapel St Leonard on a nice stroll. There is a bit of a breeze, but it's pleasant, and I've got this path to walk on as opposed to quicksand. And over there you've got the North Sea wind machines, and then you've got the people who've got there. I don't know if these are holiday bungalows or whether they're where people live all the time. They've got beautiful views out to the not the Atlantic. It'll be the North Sea, won't it? Yeah, it'll be the North Sea. Just short videos because I don't want to run out of battery over and that.